Welcome back to the Code Chronicles. We're here with another episode. Some massive changes has happened. Yeah, it's looking fantastic. The project management system is coming together. I spent a night figuring out some 3D models with Spline. Pretty fun. Looks kind of cool. Check this out. We did some updates. The project is looking proper, right? Like this is getting crazy for me. I'm loving it. Some new ideas are popping up. I got some compliments from some buddies on it. So yeah, just yeah, kind of cool stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and start building out some stuff today. I don't have anything specific today. I've just kind of been touching up stuff here, touching up stuff there. Um, yeah, it's coming together. I built some more ideas out for the sidebar. So we're adding a little bit more value to the end customer. I think this will be all the sidebar things that I want to add, or all the services, I guess. So this is one that's not touched at all, which is the calendar service, and then I also want to have a timeline service. So yeah, those are going to be some stuff too, and then obviously the about page. I think I showed that on one of the episodes, maybe not, but obviously things are looking a lot cleaner. And just they're there with it. It's looking proper. So, and then I'll build out a tutorial thing too. And there's like this click tutorial thing that you can literally show people how to use it, and it'll like automate all your images for you and screen record. I forget what that software is called, but I'll figure it out and hopefully post that here to show people how to use the application. But yeah, we are getting there. So this was something I was working on earlier, was just swapping between projects and showing different stats. So I can see different stats and different categories per this project, and then I can swap to this project, see different stats and different categories for this one. So yeah, that's something visually that I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, that impressed myself. Seldomly do I do that. Seldomly do I do that. But um, let's go ahead and talk about some of these other things that I was thinking of building. The time invested one, that's like one stat that I think is going to be interesting on how to calculate. One thing I was going for was tracking when a task got put into the in progress column, and then when it got moved to the done column, calculate that number. But then a problem comes out of that too. If two tasks live in the in progress column and they're getting moved to the done column, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing twice the amount of work. It just may be you're working on two different tasks at the same time, but it would then count for twice the amount of work. So then your hours would double, triple, quadruple. Maybe, if you have 10 tasks in the in progress column, you're racking up 10 hours for 1 hour. So you would only be able to work on one task at a time. That's not what we want to do. So I'm thinking of a different approach on it, and I have an idea. Maybe that's what we'll integrate today, or try to. But yeah, this application, she is looking proper. I will tell you what, I'm very, very proud and very happy. Added some loaders and stuff too, so we'll see if we get lucky. Boom, see that little loading screen? You can add a new project name, so we'll say new project name. Just some transitions as well too, to smoothen things out, smoothen the button transitions, all that stuff. So new project name, as well. Deleting tasks or projects is kind of a big deal. So oh, that's what we wanted to add too, was the project restore functionality. That's what we wanted to do off the last episode. Um, Obviously, that was a little bit of development time away from today. The project has taken a few different turns. But yeah, so I think sidebar wise, I want to cap it at here. I think we have 7 total. That's a good number of services and functionalities, and just these 2 are kind of just basic about and tutorial stuff. But these other 5 are more logic based and heady, where these are kind of just front end simple things that I'm not too worried about. But the calendar service is going to be like that notifications type thing that we were building. So, or no, excuse me, that's going to be separate. I think notifications will be a separate service, but it won't be part of the sidebar functionality. That'll just be like a bell icon up here. So that'll be kind of the 8th service, I guess, or 6th service, which will be, because we have a project, task, user, we'll have a calendar, and yeah, maybe notifications, and maybe teams. So 6, yeah, 6 total services, I think, is what we're going to end up on. So today, what do we want to do? Do we want to do the project restore functionality, or do we want to do the time invested functionality? Kind of want to do the time invested, so then we can start figuring out how much time we're working on the project. Okay, so let's do that. The idea I had for it, and because I hope the project restore functionality is not going to be that bad. And I want to build a thing of team members associated with this project. So there's a few things I want to build. Maybe we can crank that one out actually really quick. The base project team members, which is just going to be basically our base projects table, which we've already got, and then we'll. I love how just ridiculously large this application is getting. Not ridiculous, but for me it feels like a lot. So I am digging it. I'm digging it, folks. So let's see, base project team members. Spelled it wrong down here, I realized. Not projects. We want project. So it's just going to show the team members for this project, right? Because ultimately we're going to invite other teammates to different projects. So I might be on 3 projects myself. I might have 2 that I have team members on, and it's for like, maybe one's for work, maybe one's for like an outside project. But maybe I have like my own independent project too, and I don't want other users to be part of that. Just because we're all on a team together doesn't mean I want other people to have access or know about that project. So, I think this will just be like a little bit of a little spice bay on top of things, right? A little easy deal, a little salt bay. Say base card right here. Let's see, base card, boom. Guys, I've been working out so much too. It's been a lot working out. Which is good. It just today I've been doing. I'll run the hill by my house twice in a day, or once in a day, and then I'll work out after. So I do two workouts in a day, and yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. I've been getting pretty sore. I've been getting fit. This is like the most fit I've ever felt in my life. When I take my shirt off, I'm like, okay, golly, jeez Louise. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where my body's just yelling at me today, like, hey, dude, just cool it down. Don't be getting too crazy out there. Base task table. This is what I want. Base card, boom. So the task table is similar. We're not going to have backlog though. It's going to be team members. Let's see, margin bottom 4. I don't think we want that. That seems like a lot. I don't want that neither. Do I have margin on the base card? Is that why? That'd be perfect. It was just the right distance. Let's see. Base card, padding 6th. Looks really far away for some reason. This H1. Why does that seem so much bigger than these gaps? These ones and these ones. What the hell? What did he hit? Okay, let's see. Padding 6. Let's get out of that. We don't need that. We'll leave that there. Oh, you know what? It probably was because we're doing that gap thing. I'm sure that's actually exactly why. And that's why. And that would be why, folks. So then we actually do want the margin bottom 4 here. And I think, boom, now it's all lined up proper. Great. Okay. So I got a little I think granola bar in my teeth. I've been eating rice and chicken, granola and yogurt, just trying to get a bit healthy, folks. Okay, let's see. Users. I think I don't need to filter all this. I just want the user's length here to see just how many total users. Users on, say, team members. But we'll just do that. So there should only be one on this project. It's just me, I believe. Should be, in theory. Boom. Team members, okay. Let's see. Oh, it did say one team member. There's just not a space. And we'll add parentheses around the S. Yeah, so for those who don't know what this is a project management system, a project management solution where it solves some issues that I've been having with building software for this company. That's like part of the reason why I built some of the functionality I built. And then it also, I'll be honest, no hate to Jira and Trello, but I just don't like their platform as much. I don't know why. Just for me, it just never, I don't know, it just never really, it never felt like my thing. So let's see users, let's map that out. See how much stuff we break here. Let's see, const user image. May not. User, oh well. I don't think we need all of this stuff. Boom. Let's see if this works, folks. Task name, we don't really have task, do we? Oh, I see what's going on. I see, okay. Let's get out of all of this real quick. Let's pop this down here. We might steal that. I guess if we need to steal stuff, we could just steal it from the task table, the base task table component. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to put some fragments down here. Let's just see what comes in as task, or really it shouldn't be task, it should be user. And we can say user dot, I believe user first name, I think is part of our model here. So we should be able to see that at the very least. Let's see, boom, refreshing. Yeah, but health is super important, you know. It's one of those things where you could have all the money in the world, literally all of it, and if you're sick on a hospital bed, it's not really worth very much. All that money is not going to be too helpful there. So, yeah, kind of one of those realistic things that you have to understand. Like, hey, your health is one part of you that you don't get to disassociate from, no matter what. You can't really pay for it. You can't really cheat around it. Like, I guess you can. You can supplement stuff. You could take steroids if you wanted. You could do, stuff like that. But end of the day, you really can't outrun your health. Um, Even if you go to the hospital, pay for stuff. I don't know. It's the investment that keeps giving back, right? User dot did it so why isn't this pulling up anything? Let's get rid of this show more real quick. But with that being said, I also don't want to be too healthy. It just goes to say, like, that's a good example of you could have $1 billion in the bank, but if you had a heart attack, you still had a heart attack. So granted, you do have $1 billion, so you could afford the nicest doctors and things like that. But it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the best way to prevent a problem. I think the best way to prevent a problem is to avoid it entirely, right? Or push it off as like health wise as long as possible. With problems as long as possible, but health wise, I guess you don't really have much of a choice but to do that kind of. But yeah, your health is super important because it's like you're buying into this machine, if you will, right? Like your brain, your body, and the more you take care of it, the more it's going to take care of you. So if you eat healthy, take the right vitamins, all that stuff. I'm just pulling up the console log, guys. It becomes dividends, right? It's like you wake up feeling better. So you wake up feeling better, you have a little more energy. A little more energy means you can get a little more work done, maybe. Maybe you can go work out again. Maybe you can impress a partner of your choosing. Yeah, so I think health as a whole is super super underclassed. Definitely not talked about as much as it should be, and like all of it, sleeping plays into health. Other things play into health. It's not just, oh, do you work out? Because it's also what you eat. It's also how you sleep. It's also how you handle stress and things like that. Which I'm bad at that part. That's where I'm not very good at. Is not handling stress in the best way. I just like keep working. It's how I handle stress. So, uh, so I'm not advocating it's the smartest idea, but that's just project user ID. Where do we get that from? Do we build that? Oh, I see. So we're building in the project. We're pulling in the user ID. Let's see, 10 messages, undefined. Boom. Status, brace, project cards. Oh, we don't want to see that. We want this one. Okay, so user ID. Boom. Okay, that's why we're having issues here. We're not including the users on. Let me just remove this console log out of here. Doing some debugging. A lot of it, as you can see. We'll just delete it all. It's not a big deal. And oh, we're gonna have an issue here because there's no return. Just return duration for now. Just get those red lines away from us, and I'll just do this for now. Okay. That way we just clear up the console. Hopefully that didn't break the application, but I just want to focus on this component. Okay, and it did break the application. Great. We knew that. We knew that was going to happen. Okay, let me just delete this, but then we're going to not have this calculate function work. So, or it'll have a red underline, which I don't want to see right now. So let's just pull up some ideas, see if we can disable no unused vars for this entire file. Oh, guys, so I got my old laptop too back there. I have an old one. It like grinds when it starts running. It's like Like say like tick slowly. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if dust got on the CPU or something, but it is an oldie. But I'm offloading the videos on that now. So hopefully I can get stuff done, and I don't have to put my computer to kind of like a useless mode for like 2-3 hours, or like really worry about it. And it's been slowing this computer down a lot too, just like cranking out videos, because it's been like 40 videos in the last month, or month and a half, I should say. And yeah, that's just been a lot, So users, I don't want just the user's ID. I want all the stuff. So can I say projects, users? Oh, no. So that's defining who has access to it, I believe. And then I actually want to include users. Oh, we are including users. So why is that not coming back when I call get projects? You know why? Because it's the project ID one. That's why. So when I'm calling a project, oh, this one has users in it too. Basically, this is saying give me the relationship of users. So in the database, if you look at our model, if I just call for projects, it's just going to return this. Project ID, project name, project description, tasks, and users will not come with it until I say include these two. Include the task associated with this project, include the users associated with this project. And that's what we need. We need for a specific project, we need the users with it and all the users information, which would be all of this stuff. And that relationship is defined by the project user compound key right here. So that's how we do that. Okay, let's see. But I don't know why we're not getting all the user information. We're just getting, like when I just do the project, well, maybe let's see. Maybe let's see what's in here. Stole that trick from Chester, the old star trick. Boom. So this is what is in this project, right? It should be out. We're loading. But it looked like there was a user and then an array of users. So here, let's see. Give it a sec. It's fetching. And it looks like it's fetched here, undefined. But it looked like it pulled something. There it goes. So it pulls the project. We obviously have some errors. It pulls the tasks associated with this project. Then also pulls the users associated with this project. So, oh, you know why? I bet I didn't build a function to post the project user image URL. I bet that's exactly why. Okay, so I thought we were going to get a lot more done today, but let's build that out. Let's build the project user. Well, hold on, but this is the users, but we already have the user, right? So shouldn't this bring back still the user data? Or can I get the user ID and just fetch for the user? So user ID, boom. Actually, we don't want that. We want user ID, forgive me, boom. And that's going to be what we want, I believe. So now we have the user ID. And within this, I can maybe fetch, let's see if we go to our user store. So we'll say const. Well, we'll have to import it first. Import our user store, and we're going to pull out the function that gives us all the user information. So import user store, we're going to instantiate it. Here's this, boom, user store, and I'll call it the user store. And again, these variables you can name whatever. It's just clean naming to. I like stuff like as verbose and as similar as possible. So that way I have no questions when I'm looking at an ID here. I don't need to be like, whose ID? Did I label this proper? Like I know 100% I'm looking for the user ID when I see user ID. So that's why I'm personally very verbose about it. Get users. Do we have a get user though? Is the question. Use user store. Oh no, just user store. Oh, and I had to change a lot of these to any types to deploy the application too. So yeah, maybe I'll put the URL in the base link. I don't want to do it quite yet for what the application is, but I did deploy it, which is kind of cool, kind of neato. But I do have some security things I want to talk with Chester about first. I was supposed to do that, but didn't get around to it. So fetch user. We do have a fetch user. It's fetch user. We're gonna I want to name fetch user. The entire project, it looks like it's just in the user store to get user. Just my naming, because we have get users. I don't want to be inconsistent. Or can I fetch the users associated to, let's see. Get user current state, user ID. Oh, I see update users. So maybe we want to actually get users. Ooh, and these need to be users associated to project ID. And then we could just pull that in actually. That would be the easiest for sure. That would undeniably be the easiest, and that makes the most sense to do. So let's build for that. So if we go to our endpoint of users, we're going to be changing this to get users per project IDs. So we're going to need to pull in some parameters, specifically project ID. And again, the project ID is specific to whichever project we're working on. So we have new project name, we have a project named A, we have a project named test. Let me create a project and call it Taskify, just as a actual project, right? And basically we want to pull in the ID. I can show you guys in the base. I think I showed it in a previous episode. But let me show you the project ID. So we have all this stuff, and the project ID is going to be associated with the project name. Let me show you guys that project ID. Sorry, took a really long time. Maybe we didn't actually get to post the project because obviously doing some stuff here. So I didn't see the redirect, so I don't know if it was successful. Let's see. But basically we want to pull a project for the user or users really. Because a user belongs to a project and users belong to a project, right? I really need to add a loader here. Let's see the redirect, boom. It's lagging, taking so long. Let's see, base project selector is throwing an error, but and it's just throwing an error because these things don't exist yet. They didn't arrive yet. The data packet was fetched. It's in process of arriving, but it hasn't actually been delivered to the DOM. So it's pinged off API request. And here's the data. Even though it's server-side rendered, which is incredibly fast, it still needs to do some other relationships and make sure that all the data is correct, I believe. So the projects don't exist quite yet, which that's actually really slow. So we're gonna have to figure out how to speed that up. See, let's get rid of this user ID so we're not breaking too much stuff. I'm going to shrink this down a bit, and we're going to give us a little more dev space. Let's see, get projects. Oh, I see. I see. Come on now. I just want to see the projects. Just want to see our projects. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, so when I choose a project, we should see the project name and the ID associated with the project. So new project name, we'll see the name of it and the ID associated with it. So that's perfect. And basically what I'm going to look for in this section, the team members, is I want all the team members associated to this ID. So that might be, at least for me, it was pretty heady understanding how the relationships all work. But this ID is what's telling us what tasks are within this project, what the relationships are, where the tasks are completed, all this stuff. Their tasks and users belong to projects. So projects are here, it's the ID, and we can do everything else from that. At least that's how I've set up my relationships, and it seems to make the most sense. So let's build for that, where we're going to change this endpoint. It's not going to be users. It's actually going to be, what can we do? We could say, what were we going to do? It's get users by this project, right? So what do we call it? Projects by user. We'll say users by project for this folder. Users by project. And we're going to steal this users deal and we're going to pop it in there. So let's take note of what we're going to break, because when we post a user, we need to post it to a project. So we're going to need the project ID associated with that function, and it looks like the get user. So not a ton of stuff's going to break, but two important functions, which are going to be, we're going to need to pass in a parameter here. So I'm changing user ID to project ID. And what this allows us to do is now pull that in from the parameter, and it routes everything. It handles all of our routing. So we don't have to worry about it too much. So now we can access this variable, what we just named it, const project ID. This guy, where is it? Users, project ID. We now have access to that, assuming we pass it in from the front end too. And it's going to be rec.params, but in Next router, it's going to be rec.query is what your params are, but it's the same thing as your parameters. So we need to then post, we need to get users by this and post users by this. So even this, I guess we don't have to. Well, how are we tracking the project ID? Are we just taking note of it? Project, boom. Do we have current project ID? I think we have current user ID, which I really like because that it's just an easy go-to to connect everything. User ID, yep. Okay, so let's think about it. We could do project ID, which just hard codes basically project with the project ID. So we could just simply pass that in from the front end because we're gonna have to go to our user store. And these endpoints where it's just going to users, so the post user, we actually need to pass in, or we need to change it to this. And then we're also going to need to add, wait, where did I just go? User store. We're going to need to add this parameter, which is going to be our project ID somehow. So that's what we need, is to get that project ID into here. So what we could probably do, I think the easiest would be this. We could build a bridge, which might get a little bit messy, but also really efficient when they're built. But this will be fine. I'll just update the project ID. So post user is now taking in a project ID function. We just had to define the type. Boom, and there it is. So now we need to do the same for this endpoint as well. So it's users by project, and then put in the project ID at the end there. So we'll do a similar deal. Let's see, project ID, and we'll need to update the get users, project ID by string, And it's going to throw an error because we defined it as not accepting anything, but now we'll accept it or define it by accepting a string. So we have project ID affecting or accepting a string. So all of our TypeScript is correct. I put this project on GitHub, and it's like 96% TypeScript or something. I loved it. I loved it. So it looks like our front end user store is configured, but the parts that aren't are going to be the post user function. So we're going to have two errors of this post user function. Wait, we're using it in the landing page, I believe. Because what I was doing was firing off a post user function here whenever people landed on the dashboard page, and it would fire off all the users' stuff. So I wondered if I lost that moving it around. I'm sure I did. Okay, yeah, we'll worry about that in a sec. Let's go ahead and still finish off this get users by project. So find many, and I think it's going to be where we want some. We want users. Let's see. Let's actually just throw it into good old chat Jupyter, right? I want to find the users associated to a project, to a specific project. Here is my endpoint and schema, boom. And let's go to Prisma, copy that schema in. So what it is, I believe it's going to be include or where user ID, it's going to be project relationship. Let's see what ChatGPT spun up for us. Something like this. So project ID gets accepted. Where project ID. Okay, that's all it was. But it wasn't pulling up, or was it? Projects. No, it wasn't. So what did it do? Did it change? Project user. Okay. So it fetches the project's users associated to each project. Okay. And then, oh, got it. Okay. So I do need to learn a little bit more. But good thing we got ChatGPT for that, right? Project ID, let's just ignore that for right now. I don't think it should break this too much. All we need to do is say user store, and I think we have the users now. I think that was it. Users, we might need to fetch them. But maybe not. I think that's actually the users associated with it, right? User store.get users, boom, let's see. Oh, we do need to pass in the project ID, that's right. That's right, that's right, that's right. Let's see. Looks like it's loading. Come on. Come on, baby, come on. But that's why those users are pretty much empty, because I don't have a post user function, which makes sense. Because I had that and then I deleted it for some reason. I thought, oh, I'll assign people to projects, but that's not how it's going to work. It's actually going to be, if you sign in and build a project, you need to be posted to that project. It's how that makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and pass this project ID in, and this get users function should now work. But this user store users, there may not be very many users with it. So that might be part of the issue here. So we'll say use effect, not use layout effect. We really just want this firing off one time. All right, we're loading. And what I can do here, instead of, oh, you know what? I do select the project, so I don't need to do all this. I can just say project, boom, project ID. And we do have the project ID. That's correct. That is correct. So yeah, let me just pop that in here. And I think that'll now fetch the users associated with this project. Let's see what we got. We don't need this anymore. We just want the users and all their data. That's the thing, right? We need their image URL. We need like their name, maybe how many tasks they're assigned to, things like that. Is what we're gonna do with these users. So boom, there it is. User.user, perfect. So this, now we have all that data. We can now map it over, say user, and we'll just push it in right now so we can see it. User dot, what is it? User first name. We should be able to see it now. Brian, boom. Nice. And if I do an image tag, let's see if we go user dot user image URL. We'll wrap this in one of these. I think we should be able to see the image URL. There it is. There it is, folks. So let's go back to that base task table. And that's awesome because now we can see the users associated to this project specifically. I'm going to steal some of this stuff here. Let's see. So we definitely want that image. That's a good image. It just literally, we don't need this style though. We don't need the assigned. That style was for stacking multiple users side by side on one thing, but we don't need that. We just need just the user image. Let's see what the error is. It shouldn't be. Chunk load failed. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. Folks, I think that'll about wrap it up here, assuming we did it proper. Just adding that Teams component. Then I'll think more about the restore functionality and what was the other one? The hours functionality. So let's wait. Boom, boom, boom. Should see the image here. Brian, nice. There it is. There it is. And we actually don't need an absolute position neither. We can have it just normal. And all we want to do is just say div class name flex and maybe a gap x2 or something. Just a little bit of space between the two. Item center. And this is going to have an error because we need a key on the paired element here. So we'll just use the user ID. It's a pretty good key to have. There, and we can now see the users associated to this project, this specific project, which is pretty phenomenal. So let's zoom out a little. Let me zoom back in. Let's see what I can pull up with these other projects. That's this one. Team members. So I guess I need to now assign other team members and stuff, but I will leave that for another day. I think this is pretty good, guys. So we'll go margin top 8 here, I guess, or MY4 probably more realistically a smarter deal. And yeah, this is coming together great. I think it's a few little more touch-ups, but that's awesome. That's awesome because now we could literally just come to the project's overview page and you get like a bird's eye view of some of these things. Another thing I thought about was adding like a custom add function where someone can like click on a card and they can add their own custom cards, whichever they want, like so you don't have to see all 3. Because I was thinking of adding more, like 6 of them, but maybe you don't want to see them. But that's a whole other build. So I kind of don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I kind of am though, but I want to build something impressive and something that's useful, right? And ultimately valuable for the end user. I think that's the goal here. So I'm thinking of things that I'm like, oh, I wish I had that, because that's roughly, those aren't even, whoa. But that's like what I wish just in general that I had, Let's see, margin top 4. What is this? Margin top 8. Oh, I see margin top 0 when it's 4. Okay, boom. There, that should fix it. There it is. Okay. Let's give a good view of this. Let's zoom back in. Nice, folks. Nice. Yeah, she's looking proper. And with the 3D build too and all that stuff, it's just coming together bit by bit, a little bit more at a time, So very, very excited. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.